right, so this is incredibly important. It's probably one of the biggest advancements that I've made in terms of the progression in my music and the quality of the music that I make and the originality and also in terms of how much fun I'm having with music. It's learning music theory, okay? And being able to play keyboards as opposed to relying upon sampling and relying upon things like Machine's chord mode, which is what I did in the past, if you're familiar with the other videos that I make. So right now I'm about to show you a sort of template, an outline, if you will, of how I am creating original melodies from scratch on the Machine platform. All right, so obviously you can't see this right now, but I've got a MIDI keyboard hooked up to my computer, and I've got Machine hooked up as well. And I'm going to show you the process. There's two different ways that I do this, and I'm going to show you both of them. Ways that I use to generate melody ideas, melodies that really feel good and carry emotions within my music. Okay, so I'm going to show you two ways to get that done. If you have if you have a MIDI keyboard and you want to create your own original melodies and move away from sampling to sort of create something that sounds more inspired, more real, and you want to have more control over your music, this is going to help you do that. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. So as of right now, I have a drum groove already, and I'll play that for you in a second. But basically, this is where I start to come up with a melody idea. I lay down a drum pattern that has the rhythm and the vibe that I want, and then I move on to trying to figure out the harmony and the melody of the beat to get everything interlocking and working well together, okay? So this is the step that I'm going to take now. I'm going to play this pattern for you, and then I'm going to walk you through the ways in which I typically try to come up with the melody creatively, all right? So I'll let you listen to this drum pattern. I think it's pretty nice. Alright, so just a 1-bar loop, really simple. We got some simple sounds in here. These are from a drum library that I've created. But yeah, it's a simple loop, right? And that's just going to serve as the foundation. We can go in later and add more variations to this pattern so it's not quite as repetitive. But typically the way that I like to work is just bust out a quick 1-bar loop to sort of get the rhythm going and the vibe going, and then I go to figure out the melody and keep building from there. Alright, so what I would do now typically is there are two things in which I do. The very first thing is finding a great sound to complement. All right, so I've got a drum pattern that works. Typically, next I'll go in and jump inside of Arturia and find a preset synthesizer sound that sort of vibes with what I'm doing already. All right, so that's the next step in this process. All right, so I've jumped up. I've got the modular V loaded up, and basically I'll search through some of the presets and try to find something that I like. I already picked out something that I like. It's called Fair Away, but I'll let you show you sort of the process in which I find. All right. So what I do now is I'm gonna let this loop, and then I'm going to jump in. Typically, I jump into pad mode in Machine and engage the chord mode at first. That's just to get an idea of what this would sound like if I played this in chords. I can get more of an idea of sort of the harmonies and the texture that whatever sounds I'm using creates. All right, so I'm gonna look for a pad right now. Typically, let's go ahead and do here. I'm gonna pad, and I'm gonna start from the beginning, and then I'm going to sort of search through these by letting this loop. So this is the first way that I do things. I'm gonna find a great sound first. So I really like that preset that I just got. Let's see, it's called Fair Away. It's pretty interesting texture. It's sort of a good sounding pad. All right, so this is what I do at this point. I know that the sound evokes the texture that I like. You know, it sounds cool. So what I would do now is one of two things. All right, so I jump on over. Typically, I have a chord chart that I found online, and I can link this up inside of the notes to this video below on YouTube. So this basically just outlines a whole bunch of chords, interesting sounding chords. So typically I might try to find a chord that I'm familiar with, you know, a major seventh chord like this, and then I'll sort of experiment and just sort of go down the list and see if I hit upon a chord combination that makes sense and feels good. All right, so just listening to the harmony combined with the drum groove, I'm going to start playing around with some chords. All right, so I'm going to loop this and then sort of figure out some chords. All right, so what you can't see off screen is I'm just going to jump onto my MIDI keyboard and sort of follow the instructions of this chord chart and play these as I go along. Right, so very simple shit. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, let's go ahead and do it. Alright, so that was pretty simple. I basically went with this chord right here, and then sort of shifted the key down, or not the key, but just shifted my hands down, I guess 2 white keys. To be honest, guys, I don't know shit about music theory. I don't know anything about music theory. I'm just sort of feeling this out as I go. So, you know, you don't have to be uncomfortable knowing that you don't know any of this stuff, because I definitely don't know any of this stuff. It's just about coming up with something that sounds good and feels good. So what I'm going to do now is record this into this pattern right here. And I know it's going to be a 4-bar loop, so I'll go ahead and put that inside. So I'm just going to play around with what I've got. So that pad sounds really awesome. So I'm going to record this into this 4-bar loop, and then I'm going to keep building the beat from there. Alright, so that's pretty simple, guys. I just figured out a melody using just a chord chart, and I'm going to link that up inside of the notes in the description for this. The other way that I might do this is just simply playing engaging chord mode on machine by just selecting the sound or whatever I have right here, and then holding down, pressing and holding pad mode. Let's see, let me disengage it really quick. So you press shift and then pad mode to engage the keyboard, and then you hold down pad mode again and engage the chord mode. I have an entire video about that if you want something more detailed. And then I'll go in and select the chords that I like. And typically it's a major 7th chord is what I'm going for. And then once I select the chord mode, I'll seriously just go in I'll look at the keys that are lighting up when I select the chord mode, and then I will just play those keys on my keyboard, and just sort of figure out a way to get the melody and the feel that I want. And then I can sort of experiment with that in different ways, all right? So that's the second way. The first way, like I said, is looking at a chord chart and just experimenting that way. The next way that I do it typically is just experimenting with the chord mode of Machine, taking note and looking at the chords that are lighting up or the keys that are lighting up and just playing those on my MIDI keyboard, all right? That's the second way to easily come up with melodies. All right, and then at this point, basically what I would do is move on to building the beat even further, all right? So I know what key I'm in, basically, just because I've looked at my chord chart. And so I know that I have a few different notes that I can choose from in order to build. So I've got the harmony in sort of this pad, and I can build the melody in a different way using some of those similar notes. So that's what I'll go do now. I'll let you see this process. I'm going to deselect this. I'm going to find another preset, and then sort of experiment with what else I can do. I'm going to go and select a lead, start from 0, and then cycle through. Alright, so I really wanted this video to be proof of a demonstration that beat making does not have to be complicated, alright? I don't understand music theory to the fullest degree, but I'm able to stumble upon, just a few harmonies and melodies that feel good. And as you can see, it's a lot more simple to put together beats that sound good than most people think. It's about having good sounds that evoke good emotion and being able to roughly put together a great rhythm, great harmony, and great melody, all right? And that makes a simple process to creating beats, all right? So if you're interested in this type of information, obviously you're still watching, so I guess Machine is important to you. The idea of being able to create more professional sounding beats is important to you. It's important to you to be able to figure out tips and techniques and tricks like this in order for you to advance your knowledge about production so that you can then go on to create better sounding music, so that you can make the most of your investment in this gear that you purchased and have more fun as you're creating music. All right, so I want to offer you an opportunity to check out my Beat School program. And basically, Beat School is it's a program that I've put together that introduces you and brings you to a point from beginning to end to where you solidly understand Machine's workflow so that you can create great quality music. And just like this video that you just watched, inside of Beat School are solely advanced techniques, so intermediate and advanced techniques. No really beginner stuff in here. I focus on more ideas just like you just learned to help you sort of educate yourself about Machine's technology and the art of producing beats. So like I just showed you, the art of putting together harmony and melody and groove and combining those to create good sounding beats. And lastly, audio engineering. There's an entire section about audio engineering. But most importantly, I think if you watch this video today, the pieces in which I broke down, if you want to understand more about things like building great drum grooves, like how to basically put together a great sounding drum groove, Beat School has an entire section full of video lessons that are about 25 minutes long that show you in depth the details of my entire process. So if you want to understand more about melodies and harmony and how to put together rhythms in a sense that makes musical sense on Machine, then go ahead and check out Beat School. All you have to do is click the link below this video. Inside the description, you'll land upon a page that looks like this, and you can sign up today, all right? So the membership for Beat School is typically $50. However, I have a special deal going on that allows you to sign up for $38.60 a month, all right? Not to mention, everything is always going to be backed by my 30-day guarantee, all right? So sign up for Beat School today, and within 30 days, if you check out the information in the program and it does not greatly improve the quality of your music, just send me a quick email and I will give you a prompt refund of your $38.60 back, right? So you know that, I guess there's no negative to signing up today, all right? And I'm also going to hook you up with some awesome drums when you sign up today, all right? So click the link below. You'll click on this yellow button at the bottom of the page, and you can enter your name and your payment information, and you'll get access to all of this great information so that you can quickly take yourself from 0 to 60 on Machine and get to the point where you're able to make beats like I do, all right? So that's it for this video. I look forward to seeing you in future videos. Go ahead and click that subscribe button to get more great free content about Machine. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Peace.